Hey guys, it is I, the Ninja Drummist, or Lewis as my friends tend to call me. Anyway, here we are in my humble teaching abode here at Greenbank Music Village in Luton. I've taught here for probably 15 years now, and yeah, there's a lot of drum students come through this room. Hopefully I've helped a lot of people. But anyway, just waiting for a student to turn up, and I thought I'd kill some time by making another video log. So just wanted to update you guys and let you know where we're at. You may notice that we now have mics. Yes, I finally have my own audio set up. You may have noticed that my videos kind of went up in quality, then back down again, then kind of back up again, I don't know. Anyway, reason for that was it kind of started with just me and a cheap camera. It was actually my phone at the time, the first few videos that we put up. And anyway, I happened to meet a good friend, Benny, who had a studio at his house, and basically he needed some mixing experience. He'd never mixed drums before. I needed some better quality audio on my videos, so we kind of mutually helped each other out. But unfortunately that ship sailed. I couldn't really expect him to continue doing that because he was working for free, and I think he got what he needed out of it, and so did I. So it was a very mutually beneficial arrangement. But yeah, then unfortunately it was back to me and my cheap camera again for a little while. But recently, yeah, I've spent some money, got some decent microphones, got some audio software, got an interface, and yeah, really now all I'm using the camera for is my face. So yeah, hopefully you're enjoying the new videos. I'm trying to be a bit more affluent with them and try and bring them out a little bit more often. I've noticed with YouTube you do need to post a bit more regularly than I was, so hopefully we're going to change that. So I thought I'd give you a little update on where we are with these video lessons, because I do really want to start teaching you guys and sharing my knowledge and things. So yeah, we're pretty much there with the audio set up. About the only thing I think I could do with is a hi-hat mic, because I've noticed my overheads aren't quite picking it up as much as I'd like. But yeah, setup wise we're pretty much there. I've already started filming video lessons. Unfortunately the shop with which I will sell them is not quite finished yet. It's just little old me running this. So yeah, I'm the web designer, I'm the drum teacher, yeah. And when you've got a very busy teaching schedule and gigging as well at the weekend, it's kind of difficult to get on with these things. There's a mountain of work in front of me, but I am trying to complete it as quickly as I can. But yeah, building a shopping cart, if any of you are programmers out there, you'll know what a nightmare that can be. But yeah, I'm hoping probably by the summer, although don't quote me on that, I should have the first video lesson on sale, and we're working with that. Anyway, rather than just give you guys an update, I thought I'd make a little bit more point to this video by answering a few questions I've been asked a lot recently. One of which is, what sticks do I use? In my last video log where I gave you guys a tour of the kit, I did promise that we'd have a look in the stick bag, so without any further ado, let's do that. This is my Protection Racket Deluxe stick bag. I quite like this bag because not only does it hold a lot of drumsticks, but also the clear pockets enable you to see what's in there without having to get things out all the time. Over this side I keep my new sticks with my current preferred size, which is the 55A Extreme by Vic Firth. Extreme means it's about 1/4 of an inch longer than the standard 55A, and 55A means that it's exactly in between a 5A and a 5B weight wise. I've been looking for something like that for a long time because I always felt 5A felt a bit light to me, but then if I get some 5Bs out I start getting complaints from my fellow band members that I'm playing too loud. So yeah, this is the perfect stick size for me at the moment. And I have a system as well, so the ones in the card are the new ones and they're a matched pair, whereas loose in here I have a few where, say, I've broken the other half of that but this is still intact. Never throw away a perfectly good stick. I'll put that together with another one from another pair. I only tend to do that when I'm practicing though, really, because I don't like playing with unmatched pairs particularly, but hey, it helps you get like 3 pairs of sticks for the price of 2. And then over the other side I have an assortment of drumming utensils. We've got these are my marching band sticks. As you'd probably noticed from a lot of the things I post, I'm an avid fan of the American drum corps stuff. These are some very heavy sticks. These are the Ralph Hardiman Corpse Master model. Check this out, like if I put that next to the other ones I just showed, you can almost fit 2 of those in the space that these bad boys are taking up. Definitely gave me newfound respect for marching band drummers in that they're doing all that crazy stick trickery with these baseball bats. But yeah, I do find that the marching band stuff sounds and looks a little bit more legit with these. However, never play on them with a drum kit because these are for Kevlar heads, not Mylar heads. You'll probably go straight for every skin that you've got on your kit with these. But yeah, they're good for sort of heavy workouts, and I do find, yeah, a lot of the marching band stuff does sound and look a bit more legit with these. And then over here I got some rods for quieter drumming. These are the Vic Firth 202 route. And what I like about these ones actually is I've tried the ones where they're all made out of these thinner dowels, and I just go straight through them. They don't last me 5 minutes. Whereas the 202 has a thicker dowel in the centre, surrounded by the thinner dowels. And yeah, I do find I get a little bit more life out of these, and they are quite expensive really for what they are. Let me just get my brushes out and I'll show you those. These are the Vic Firth Legacy wooden handled brushes. I thought a while ago that it was about time I treated myself to a nice set of brushes. These were quite expensive, but I tell you what happened when I first got them. I realised that, oh, I've only ever played with bad brushes before. These are so nice, so responsive. It's easy to get rebound out of them. They're not terribly damaging to snare heads, which I find some other wire brushes can be when you sort of play the jazz sweepy kind of stuff. So yeah, they're great. I tell you what, there's an award for someone that can come up with a decent way. This is pretty good, this tube, but a decent way of protecting brushes in a stick bag without them becoming completely mangled. I've lost so many brushes to that where either the rod at the bottom has bent or the bristles themselves are bent. Once that happens, it is kind of game over, really. Anyway, then the rest of the stick bag, I'll try and keep a survival kit because this stick bag's always with me, even if I'm sharing a house kit or something like that. So, yeah, in this side, I've got some earplugs, essential equipment, a drum key, obviously. That's a little tub of moon gel there for dampening, depending upon whether the room requires it. A torch, because for some reason people who own clubs tend to think that it's a good time to turn the lights off when it's time to pack away. And then over here I was curious as to how many sticks I use in a year, so I've been keeping the cards to see how many I end up with in the space of a year. I probably get through about 4 pairs of sticks a month, roughly. I do a lot of teaching, playing, gigging, so yeah. It does get through the sticks quite quickly that way. Just here we've got a hi-hat clutch. It's only a cheap one, but the amount of times I've got to a gig and on the house kit this is either missing, broken or both. Keep a hi-hat clutch in your stick bag. It will save your life one day. Pocket of the bag, I've got some sim pads. You might notice I use those on the kit instead of cymbal felts. These really do bring out a bit more life in your cymbals. Definitely recommend checking those out. I also have some tuna fish lug locks just in case I lose one, keep my drums in tune. I'm not fond of tuning drums, as you might have seen in my last video, and these enable me to keep my drum in tune for probably about 3 months before the head starts to stretch, so highly recommend those. And then just a few other assorted spare parts, another beater for my own Cobra pedal, a few washers and felts and things like that. But yeah, I do advise keeping a sort of semi-survival kit in the stick bag because it's usually the one bag that you take with you everywhere. Another question I've been asked a lot recently is what do I practice? So I thought I'd give you a little insight into my current practice regime. This is essentially it, these 5 books. I've posted pictures of these a few times and I've noticed a few people think that I'm going through the whole book in the space of a day. No, that would be crazy, and unfortunately I do have to work for a living. Probably would do that if I didn't have to, but yeah, I do a couple of exercises each day from each book. I'll demonstrate a couple of them in a moment, but really you should buy these books. I'm going to try not to give away too much of the contents because they're great books. So first up, I highly recommend all of these. We have Stick Control by George Lawrence Stone. Most people regard this as probably one of the greatest drum books ever written. This year it is currently 81 years old and it's still breaking drummers' hands in today. So yeah, highly recommended this book. It's a timeless classic. Another Stone book here. This was kind of Stone's follow-up to Stick Control, accents and rebounds. There's some slightly more advanced exercises in here, but I just tend to play a couple out of each book each day. Next up we have George Lawrence Stone's most famous student, Mr. Joe Morello. I really love the relationship between George Lawrence Stone and Joe Morello in that it reminds me a lot of the relationship between me and my old teacher, which is where unfortunately George Lawrence Stone passed away, but the student carried on the teacher's work. That's kind of what I've been trying to do, God rest you Freddie, who was my drum teacher. So yeah, this is Master Studies. Again, play a couple of exercises out of here, and it does kind of follow on really nicely from the stuff in the Stone books, because as I say, it was Joe Morello attempting to continue his teacher's work, and then he followed that up with a second book. I find again in here there's some slightly more advanced exercises there might be in the first book. Most people who've played from Master Studies are familiar with the Stone Killer exercises. They are pretty brutal, but really good for building endurance and stamina and things like that. And then finally over here I've got Technique Patterns by Gary Chafer. You can see these books are well loved, by the way. I've had them for quite a long time. And yeah, again, I tend to play a couple of exercises out of here each day. There's some great stuff for hands and feet, particularly like keeping your linear drumming on point. Yeah, so without any further ado, let me demonstrate a few exercises because I've yet to do any practice today. So next I've been working on playing sextuplets, which is over 150 BPM. I find around about there I start tightening up, so I'm just kind of working on staying loose. I'm working on my motor technique quite a bit because I actually did a shoulder injury recently. I tore my rotator cuff, and I'm finding that exercises like this feel really good for it, so keeping these going. So if I demonstrate that a little bit, I tend to play it 25 times leading with the right, and then 25 times leading with the left. Some leading with the left as well, just show you what that sounds like. So anyway, I'm now sat here on the drum kit. If you're wondering why I do a lot of the grueling exercises on the pad instead of on the kit, there's actually two reasons for that. First reason, I find if I play this stuff on the snare drum and say, yeah, I'm just going to play this exercise on this snare drum, I can't help myself, man. I end up playing a beat, I end up playing a fill, I end up getting excited. And I found that what I'm actually doing there is I'm stifling the fact that I want to make music when I sit down at a drum kit. I think that's a good thing. I shouldn't really stifle that. So I found, yeah, if I do all the grueling stuff on the pad, I don't seem to mind playing it there. And then when I get on the kit, I can just make music, and I do seem to like the separation that brings me. Another reason I work with a pad is because you can hear the hollow sound of the stick over a pad. I know that if I can hear a hollow sound, that my hand is loose and relaxed, whereas if I can hear a kind of a sound, then yeah, I'm a bit too tight and I need to loosen up. If I played that on the snare drum would just drown out the sound of the sticks like that. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to play one last exercise, same book as a minute ago, Gary Chafee Technique Patterns. I tend to play through from page 34 to page 38, and that just seems to warm my feet up because I've got a little imbalance now. My hands are nice and warmed up, but my feet are a little bit behind. So I'm going to warm my feet up. And then after that, I'm going to spend probably about the next hour, maybe hour and a half, just playing along with songs I like, put the MP3 player on, maybe playing along with a few metronomes, trying out a few ideas, but just making music. I feel like I've earned that now. I've done all this hard work with these exercises. Excuse the sound here, obviously I haven't got time to set up my nice Tama kit and put all the mics on it and mix it and everything like that. I'm just at work, practicing in between the students. But yeah, this kit leaves a little left to be desired. It's about 15, 16 years old, and the heads are probably about as old as that as well. Cymbals, yeah, they leave a little left to be desired. But a bad workman blames his tools, I believe. I never started out on the greatest drum kit, and I think as a result of that, I can make a good sound on just about anything, and I can be humble about equipment as well, rather than going, no, that's not good enough, like I've seen a lot of drummers doing things. And I'm finding that it's good to teach on a kit like this because I'm able to inspire the same in my students. Come on, be humble, it ain't the gear, it's the drummer. Anyway, so I'm going to play through this last exercise. I'll probably play through it once just to give you the general gist, because I don't really want to give much of these books away for free. A, they're not mine, I don't want to violate copyright law, and really you should own these books if you want to be a good drummer. I highly recommend it. So I hope you guys enjoyed this little insight into my world and practice regime today. I hope maybe some of you found it inspiring. I hope I answered the questions I tried to address today in enough detail. If you have any more questions, by the way, please fire away. I do like to help. I think that's what this technology should be for, is that it should be bringing all of us drummers closer together so that we can share our ideas and take this art form further. So yeah, please fire away if you have any more questions. One last gem for you though, which is I remember my teacher once saying that half of what you're working on in the practice regime is trying to keep your current level, and the other half is trying to get better. That's very true actually. I find that if for whatever reason I can't go through this regime every day, I definitely feel it the next day, and that things seem a lot harder work than perhaps they usually do. So I try and stay in shape for that reason. I try and get at least an hour every day. Obviously every now and then life has its way of getting in the way, and that's not always possible, but when it is, I'm definitely in this room practicing away. I have also noticed though on the flip side of that, that if you leave me unchecked and I haven't got any work to do for the rest of the day, I will probably gladly play for 24 hours. That's just how much I love playing this instrument. And really that's all it takes. So yeah, again, I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you watch the next couple of video uploads that I put up. I'm trying to sort of keep an assortment going on where it's a mixture of, you know, groove, fill, solo-y type stuff. I want to give something to everybody if I can. And yeah, hopefully maybe by the summer we'll have some video lessons on the website for sale, and you guys can enjoy that too. Anyway, thanks for watching guys. I'm glad you made it this far through this video. I'm glad I didn't waffle too much or bore you to death. I'm still kind of getting a bit used to the speaking to the camera. I guess if I want to do video lessons, that's something I need to overcome. But yeah, for some reason I could say this 20 times without a problem, but when I press the button on my camera and start filming it, I can't talk anymore. But yeah, I'm getting better with that. That's why I'm trying to do these video logs. And yeah, again, thanks for watching. See you soon guys.